everyone, Amanda here from Scrimpingmommy.co.uk, and today I'm going to make a beautiful gift box. It's a lovely size, we're going to stamp it, and it's all made with one sheet of 12 by 12. Now I've cut the sheet of 12 by 12 down to 12 by 11.5 inches. All of the measurements and all of the scores that I share with you will be listed over on my blog at Scrimpingmommy.co.uk, and the link to that will be in the description box below, so don't worry if you miss any of these measurements. So 12 by 11.5, we've got the 11.5 at the top there, and we are going to start scoring, and I'm going to score first of all at 1 3/4, 5 1/4, 7 and 10.5. Okay, then we're going to turn to the left, so anti-clockwise, so that we've got this 1 inch strip at the top, and this will be 1 3/4 at the bottom. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to score, but for the first score we're only going to score down to the second score line. So we've got 1 2 3 4 score lines, so we're going from the top and we're stopping at the second, and we're going to score first of all at let me make sure I get my measurements right, 3/4 inch. Make sure it is right up, is it right up there? There we go. Make sure it's all flush. 3/4 inch. Stop at the second score line, and then come across here, and we're going to score at 11 1/4. I'm holding it so it all stays straight and firm. 11 1/4, just down to the second score line. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to score from the top, and we're going to go all the way down to the bottom this time, and we're going to score at 1 3/4. So the full length, and 10 1/4, the full length. Okay, and then we can remove our scoreboard. We're finished with that bit for now. Okay, let me zoom in ever so slightly. Hope it's not too glary. So the 1 inch strip there is at the top, or 1 3/4 at the bottom. So at the top section here you've got 2 sets of score lines. So here you've got 2 small squares and a rectangle. We're going to cut that away. We don't need them. Okay, so let me grab some long scissors. So rectangle, small square, we're going to cut all of that away. We don't need it, and we don't need it at both sides. We're just cutting that away before we do any burnishing and folding, so that we know where we are basically. Okay, it's just easier, and we're going to cut it away there as well, and then I can show you the shape that you should end up with. Okay, and there we go. So we're ending up with that shape there. Hopefully you can see that. You think you can? And the other reason why we've cut that away straight away is so that we can now easily identify that this section here is going to be the lid of our box, and this is going to be the base of our box. So now we can start and fold and burnish everything. In fact, no we won't. We're going to wait because I'm going to do some stamping. So let's zoom in. Okay, so I'm going to do some stamping, but what I'm going to do is I'm only going to stamp on this section here. So this smaller section where we've got the cutouts are the lids. I want that, I'm leaving that plain for now, and we're going to concentrate on the base of the box here. So let me just move that out of the way while I bring in what I'm going to do, because I'm going to do a bit of like the baby wipe technique, except I don't have any baby wipes. So we've got some wrapped up kitchen roll here, and I'm spraying it with water to make it nice and wet, and it's just going to give us, I can't say it's going to be any different. Let's put it that way. Okay, so, but what I don't want is, I don't want all of my desk to get completely wet, so I'm going to try and keep that in one section, wipe that excess water away. And then I've taken a selection of inks from the Subtles range, re-inkers, I beg your pardon. So I'm starting with What shall I start with? I'm going to start with Highland Heather. Okay, if you don't have the reinkers, just stamp the stamps in different colours. Okay, just use your imagination if you don't have these. If you don't have these and you can't do this technique, just stamp the box just with stamps. Okay, so then we'll have, what's this one? Calypso Coral. Calypso Coral. A few drops of that so that it all spreads in nice. And then we'll have some of the blue. And this is Balmy Blue. And Mint Macaron over there. And to finish, we have got So Saffron. I do like getting inky and messy. It's fun. You never quite know what's going to happen. It can be a little bit unpredictable, but it's fun. And crafting should be fun. And you should get to play and be creative. So the stamps that I'm using, I'll just let those colours sink in. The stamps that I'm using today, I'm using a mixture of floral essence. And I'm going to use this leaf here, which has come from Rooted in Nature. If you don't have these, use something similar. You could use anything really. Okay, I leave the details of what I've used on my blog. If you fancy earning them yourself, you can go on over there. So I've got all of my, I'm just going to actually spray that with a little more water. So I've got all of my stamps that I'm going to be using all lined up, and I think I'm going to use a stamping mat, because I'll tell you for why. The perennial essence is photopolymer, and so and also I'm using this technique, and so I need some cushion help. So I'm stamping that into the ink carefully. I'm going to have to be careful when I stamp on here, because I don't want the ink that I've got all over the block there to stamp on my cardstock, so I will have to be careful. So I'm just going to wipe it with a towel as I go. You know, this is not a flat surface. Using the tissue, that's possibly where baby wipes are a little bit better, because they're a little bit flatter. I'm just going to stamp that on there and lift, and look at that lovely kind of tie-dye mottle effect. I'm loving that. I think it's super pretty. Okay, I'm going to go in again, give it a good press, try not to wiggle it about too much. I have previously done it and wiggled it about a bit, and it can kind of mush up the colours and make them a bit muddy, so just press gently and don't wiggle it about. Okay, and if it starts to get dry, just add a little bit of water. There should be plenty of ink on there to finish our stamping needs, as it were. So let's get this done. You can fast forward while I stamp if you like, I don't mind. Okay. I'm doing it carefully because I'm using Whisper White and I don't want to get ink everywhere. Okay, I'm just going to turn it there. And spray some more water on to reactivate those colours. And keep going. Okay. You can always re-add more colour to the tissue, which I'm just going to add some more now. Just a few drops, let it soak in. I'm putting them in the same place that I put them originally, because I want those colours to be vivid. I don't want them to be too pale. So I'm just re-adding just a touch more ink. The re-inkers go a very long way. I've had these ages, absolutely ages. I've re-inked my ink pad and I've played with them and I've loads. So they want using. Right, add some water. Okay, and carry on. So I'll get another one. Okay, and I'm going to stamp down here. And then I'm going to change the stamp that I'm using, and I'm going to use this leaf from the Rooted in Nature. I'm going to do that in and between. This one should be easier to stamp because it's a red rubber. I do like the red rubbers. I'm not going to lie to you. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody that I've got a favourite. I don't want photopolymer to get all jealous. But I do like my red rubbers. Okay, some over here. And that's looking really lovely. In fact, I can just move my stamp mat away. I don't need my stamp mat when I'm doing... I'm just going to fold that under because I don't want it on that bit. I don't need my stamp mat when I'm using red rubber because they've already got the built-in cushion layer, so we're good to go. And keep stamping there, twisting it around. It's making a lovely, lovely pattern of lovely different colours. Let's bring in, I've got this leafy one here as well. I'm just going to add some water. I'm not adding any extra ink, I'm just adding a little bit of water there. And I'm just going to see if that shows up. Needs the stamp mat. It does need the stamp mat. So let's just fill in with a little bit of extra leaf colour. Just a few dotted around for extra interest. Give it a good press on that inky tissue to get that ink on, and it should show up perfect. Okay, and another one over here, and then we'll leave it at that. So I've got my lovely background. I'm going to move my tissue out of the way now. I've finished with that. Okay, move my mat out of the way. So now I'm going to work on my lid, and I'm going to use this leaf from Rooted in Nature. But I just need to give it a bit of a wipe, so I'm just going to use my chamois. Squeaky squeak. Oof, horrible sound that. And what I'm using for this is Smoky Slate. Okay. Let me just practice stamp that on some scrap. Yes, that's a fine. Just making sure it's not too dark. And I will tell you that I've got the inspiration from one of my lovely boxes that I've received lately. So that's where I've got my idea from. I just think it's awesome, so I'm just kind of imitating it. Not perfectly, but that's where I've got the idea to have the multicolour on the bottom and then the grey on the top. So I'm using this and I'm twisting it around, and I'm going all over where the lid will be. I need to go off the edges a little bit so that it totally and then we're going to have a two-tonal box, and it's all going to fold together all in one. So you could do all of this if you use gift boxes in your small business, or you do craft fairs, or you just like to have them to hand. You could do all of this work, and then you could leave it like that and assemble it when you're ready. That is the good thing about this. So you're stamping your own unique background, even though we've kind of got the inspiration from my packaging. But it's not exactly the same, is it? So we're not breaking any rules. Alright. And put that one a different way. And we'll just have one coming off the edge there and peeking on the edge there, and we're done. Alright, so we've got two different stamped sections, but this one still has the same leaf stamp as that one, so the pattern is consistent. It's not like you've just put two things together that don't really go. So what we're going to do now, give it 2 minutes to dry, and then we're going to construct our box. So I'm going to turn it like so. So what we need to do is cut up all of the score lines upwards to the first horizontal score line. Okay, that releases those flaps. I've not cut that terribly straight. Let me have another go. in fact, yeah, just let me have another go at that. There we go, that's better. So here we've got a square, a rectangle and a square. So the squares are flat and the rectangles are the sides. So you need to make sure you cut along where the side's going to be lovely and straight. And then on the square we're going to notch. Okay, I'm actually going to change scissors. I want some longer ones. I don't have as much control over the short snips when it comes to making boxes. There we go, that's better. So same again here. We're going to cut that as carefully as we can, and then we can notch that square like so. Okay, and then we're going to turn it around and we're going to do exactly the same. So we're cutting straight up there, and I'll do my folding afterwards. I find it easier to cut before I've folded for some reason. I'm just more accurate with my cuts if I can see exactly where the score line is. Okay, so I'm just notching that and that. I'm cutting up that one. You know, some people will say, oh, well, there's a precise way to do it, and you've got to fold along the score line the right way, and you've got to do this. There's no right or wrong in crafting. If anybody tries to tell you that there's a specific way you have to do things, take no notice of them. They are talking garbage. Because there is no right or wrong in crafting. Okay, there's no such thing as a right or a wrong way. You do what is right for you. So on the lid here we've got two little squares. They need trimming, so we're cutting up to the first score line on that little square, and then we're just going to gently notch it because those are tabs to construct our lid. Okay. And that one goes. I'm trying to cut really carefully because I want it to be really nice. Okay, so if I'm taking my time and I'm being a bit long-winded, that's why. Right, so on this section here, this is going to be the lid, and I want it shaped, so I'm going to cut a little triangle out. That is not very, let me just trim that so it's a little bit neater. There we go. So I'm going to cut just the triangle out there from the corner of that bit. Okay, like so. So see, I've cut that triangle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that triangle over, and it's in that position. I'm just flipping it over, and I'm going to put it over on the other side, and that then will give me the template to cut that side so that both sides are the same. Okay, or very similar. They might not be precise if you've got an engineer with, you know, a spirit level, but but you know. Right, so now this is when I'm going to fold and burnish, because also my ink has had time to dry, so it's not going to get smudged while I'm doing my folding and burnishing. There's always method in my madness. Okay, fold those up. Fold that up. Like so. Now if you go to my blog and this project is not there yet, try back later, because I am uploading this as a bonus video today. I don't always upload on this day of the week, but I thought I'd do an extra. I promised I would, because I'm no longer doing kits, so I've got a little bit more time on my hands. I promised I'd do more, so that's what I'm doing. Right, so there we go. So now what we do is, on all of the squares, they all want tape on. Okay, so let me get my tape. So the squares want tape and the rectangles don't. That's the easiest way to remember it. Okay, now I am doing this a little bit quicker for the video. I would probably put tape there as well, and I would probably use my red line tape. But this tape's a little bit thinner and cheaper that I bought locally, and so it's quicker. Again, you can always fast forward this bit if you want, if it's dragging on a bit too long and you're thinking, blimey Amanda, I'm sick of watching. fast forward it a couple of minutes till you see me do something that interests you. There we go. And this is, it's standard Whisper White, 12 by 12. You can buy it in packs and you get quite a bit. And it's just a lovely, lovely cardstock to stamp on. I love it. I have also created one, my template that I was practicing with, and I used the white card that comes in the back of your DSP packs, and that is lovely, but it's not always good for stamping on because it's got a bit of a shiny surface. But you can stamp on it and then heat set it, but that would have made my video even longer, so I'm using Whisper White. But yeah, use the cards, the boards that you get in the back of the DSP. They make awesome boxes. You can line them with DSP, you can stamp on them, you can do what you want, get your money's worth. Right, so they're all on. So now all I do is remove the tape and start and construct my box. So we'll do the base first. Get all the tape off, super easy. Oh, I forgot to put some on there. And if I chatter too much for you whilst I am filming, turn the volume off. I get all sorts of like comments and things, and I just most of them are absolutely lovely. Every now and again I'll get the odd one saying that I talk too much. Yes, absolutely I do. I can't even disagree with you. I do. And it's not because I like the sound of my own voice, it's because I'm just a talkative person. I'm very chatter, I never shut up, and that is just me in real life. So, you know, there's not much I can do about that apart from apologise and say turn the volume down. I bet my husband wishes he could turn the volume down with the remote control on my voice at home. And of course, I must live in just about the noisiest place in the whole of Huddersfield, because at the moment one of my neighbours is having some work done, and so they're drilling the side of her house. I don't know what for, none of my business, but they're making a right racket. But they're really nice neighbours, so it's not like I'm going to go and complain. I'll just give the workmen a filthy look as I walk past. No, I won't even do that. I'm only kidding. I'm all mouth. I won't do anything. Right, so we have constructed our box and just making sure that these get nice and flush. We are almost finished, and that will just close beautifully. Okay, get that out of there, and it does fit lovely and flush. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at that. I hope you can see those lovely colours. And all I'm going to do, and it's not necessary, okay, because it fits nice. That lid's not, you know, it's not coming up, and it's a lovely fit. But what I'm going to do is, just to help those colours pop, I'm going to use some Granny Apple Green ribbon. Now you could, shall I do it long ways or short ways? I do think it looks really classy short ways, and then we can see all of that lovely stamping, can't we? And I haven't even stamped a sentiment, but what I would do is I'd make a little gift tag, and using the same set I've used the perennial, sorry I beg your pardon, the Floral Essence. So I'd use one of these little sentiments and I'd stamp a little tag, and then I'd tie it with some baker's twine to this little knot, because I'm not doing a bow. I can't be doing with bows, not today. And you would tie it to there with some baker's twine or a little garment tag or a little pin or something like that, and it would look absolutely beautiful. In fact, I may well do one off camera, I don't know, we'll see. But I don't want to make my video too long. So there we go. Now that box measures, it's just about 8.5 by 3.5 by 1 3/4. It's a big box. You're going to fit all sorts in there. Give it a try. I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry if it was long-winded. All the details are over on my blog. And I will see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.